Hello, this is Group F's project on cognitive theory. This project is being submitted by Kamira Randolph and Zia Vang. The theorist for the cognitive theory that we're going to be discussing is George Kelly, and George Kelly came up with a personal construct theory. According to Mr. Kelly, we are capable of interpreting behaviors and events and of using this understanding to guide our behavior and to predict the behavior of other people. And so, Mr. Kelly, through his personal construct theory, changed, actually, he was a forerunner for cognitive psychology. Now, Mr. Kelly had a very interesting beginning as a theorist because initially he had no interest at all in psychology. As a matter of fact, Mr. Kelly's degree, his bachelor's degree, was in physics and mathematics for Park College in Parkville, Missouri. He also enrolled himself in graduate school and received a master's degree in educational sociology from the University of Kansas in Lawrence. He also worked for some time as an engineer, and he took a psychology class and didn't find anything interesting at all in the class. As a matter of fact, he didn't even begin to pay attention until he got to the second half of the class. However, in 1929, he was rewarded a fellowship at the University of Edinburgh, which is located in Scotland. And it was there that he received a bachelor's of education and also developed an interest in psychology. And as he began to develop an interest in psychology there in Scotland, he continued throughout his career to do work to not only just test whether or not his theory worked, but also he spent time perfecting that theory. And one of the great things about Mr. Kelly is that he did not deal with people who were really mentally incapacitated. He dealt with students. So he was able to have an intellectual conversation with them about what they were seeing and what they were perceiving. Now, in cognitive theory, some of the assumptions that have been made is that this particular theory focuses on intellectual and rational aspects of human functioning. It excludes the emotional aspect, and it also does not coincide with the everyday experiences of clinical psychology. So, as I said before, this is a forerunner for the clinical psychology. He dealt more so with intellectual and academics than he did with the actual treatment of patients. This particular theory exists in the abstract, but not in reality. Although Mr. Kelly does not deal explicitly with emotions, he recognizes them as personal constructs, which are similar in their formation to other constructs. Now, a construct, according to Mr. Kelly, is an intellectual hypothesis that we devise and use to interpret or explain life events. Constructs are bipolar or dichotomous, such as tall versus short or honest versus dishonest. So basically, kind of the very opposite of things. The influences on psychology and society that Mr. Kelly's personal construct theory had was it gave more of an intellectual approach to psychology. Mr. Kelly's personality theory presents an optimistic and even flattering image of human nature. It endows us to use our free will and the ability to choose the direction our life will take. It also gives us the ability to change when necessary by revising old constructs and forming new ones. We are not committed to a path that is laid down in childhood or adolescence. Our direction is basically toward the future because we formulate constructs to predict or anticipate. Mr. Kelly does not consider past events to be the determinants of present behavior. We need to not push from internal drives or needs because we are motivated by the fact of being alive. That was part of Mr. Kelly's belief. And it is also the operation of our rational mental processes and not the specific events that influence the formation of our of our personality. Thank you very much, and I hope that you've enjoyed this particular presentation.